Hello, welcome to a quick trade review, quick follow-up on my journey, my daily journey. Well, every day, day trading, every day we have to trade. I will be here if I do execute. Actually, I'll just be here to just let you guys know whether I traded or not, because I think it's part of the journey as well. Even if you don't trade, that's a decision that you make due to the market-generated information. So getting right into it. Trade review for 7/23, so I'm a day behind. But this was for yesterday in the ES primarily. Um, let's see, prep. Let's go over the prep real quick for 23. Overall, my summary for the day was there was no quality structure to rely on for the day, and the primary time frame was the weekly. All else was pretty much neutral. Um, I think the yearly. I mean, you did have a recent failure on the imbalance on holding the fast trend, and then we found ourselves testing the 1.5. But other than that, it wasn't quite the quality information that you could gauge quality narrative from. Again, so the focus was on the weekly. Pretty much an art hypos where RPB of weekly development by area high, rotational within the weekly, and then IPB of weekly development by area low. Sort of looks like this on the market profile, and then you can kind of see how we started the day. Go into a little bit of my DRC, just taking note of my how I'm doing in as the day progresses. Um, and kind of grading myself based on the small little time frames. This is based off of the Lance Breitstein's DRC as well. I find it quite useful because, as he mentions, you kind of watch yourself snowball into whatever bad habits or good habits that might take place during the day, and that's all really good quality information for you to improve your trading. Um, the trade review. In overall, I ended up with just because the good meat and potatoes, this is what people want to see. How did you perform? How much money did you make? Almost minus 2R for the day. I wish I could. Oh, there we go. Pulled that up. Um, God, I'm hoping I'm recording the right screen or some of the. So I'm recording the right screen. Minus 2R for the day. Not a great day. Number of winning trades, 20%, 80% were losses. Uh, there was actually a lot of scratch trades that were basically losses. Um, this is what it looks like from an execution standpoint on the chart. Actually, I have to take a quick look at my CO that I'm managing. Oh, stop that of a CO trade. I'll have to review that later. But going back to this, so this is what it looks like on the execution chart. A little messy down below into DVAL. Definitely not a location from an intraday perspective that you want to be executing from. I did have an area that I was looking at, which was basically the weekly. I was basically executing off the weekly, developing very high, um, and it didn't work. I did feel that we had sudden weakness in the tape and weakness in the price, but from a trade setup, I was pretty much going against one of the primary factors of a good trade setup, of an A plus trade setup, which was the DVAL. The DVA was not in my favor and definitely took away from this being even a setup in general. But again, just my focus was executing off the weekly development very high. Was that warranted? I felt that it was warranted at least one good shot, and then with some good decent management could have walked away pretty well. However, that did not happen, and instead I doubled down on the idea, really trying to press against this low that we had. I think at one point we had a five, what's it called, the poor low, super poor low on the day, a 5 wide. We basically had a 5 wide on the TPO, and that just really fueled my bias for this to really push down lower, and the market was just simply not interested. It just wasn't interested, and it really was a bit more frustrating when you see what we see taking place today on the 24th, which we can cover later. And that was just, yeah, it just really added on top of that. But again, luckily, it wasn't as big of a damage as it could have been. Um, I did make to kind of put an overview to and summarize my primary mistakes. But even before that, some of the things I like to review when doing my trade review is how did I do in regards to my goal, the goal execution, to what I'm working on, which is currently working on consistency by focusing on quality narratives and setups. I grade myself relative to my prep, to the hypos, grade relative to the execution of the trade ideas, which allows me to kind of get into uh, into the details of the trades as a whole, um, and then kind of I do a little bit of the psych grade. How did I feel mentally for that day? I definitely started off well, but ended up quite frustrated. Overview. Come into planning. I sized up, made the mistake of sizing up in a day where that didn't simply warrant any size to be sizing up at all. I should have let those trades get stopped instead of trying to overmanage the trade, and then I needed to let go of a narrative that wasn't playing out, and struggled with letting go of that narrative that was taking place on the weekly. And I should have been reminding myself of whether the day warranted the expectations that I had, which was definitely not the case. I did not remind myself of what I had noted down in my prep. So all that really gave way to to the performance that I ended up putting up. Um, and again, it wasn't that too big of a damage, but there was definitely all these small things that I could improve on, and that could have led to a better looking day. But that's so far what I've have for today, for the 23rd, in regards to my trading journey. Not doing so hot in terms of P&L for the account, with the $10,000 price target. Pretty much sitting a little bit above break even. And just again, I mentioned that not because it's important, but because I know it's, what people are like, oh, well, how, that's the back of my mind. Well, actually, how are you doing, right? How's your account looking? Um, but the reality is, it's the most meaningless piece of information. The most important stuff is essentially everything I just talked about. All the little details that we can consider in order to improve and become a consistently profitable trader. All right, thank you guys, and I'll follow up probably with another video covering today's performance.